the morning sun. I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in. Then I'll watch them roll away again. Yeah. I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away.
The seaside town of Littlehampton, home to the Body Shop, the contentious East Beach Cafe, and, of course, the world's longest bench. While its status of a prosperous port and holiday destination brought it economic success during the 19th and 20th centuries, Littlehampton's industry has since been in decline, and as such this once flourishing seaside resort is now better known as a home to the single-parent family and the motability scooter. In fact, so popular is the motability scooter around Littlehampton, there appears to be a growing underground culture of serious pimping. Well, at least it's not overrun with pikeys. Of course, there is more to Littlehampton than just a struggling social class. The harbour has been witness to centuries of shipping activity dating back to Roman times. The fishing industry was once very strong, with lobster pots and nets being assembled all along the pier road. In fact, even an oyster bed was found off the local beaches, and the oyster pond, a well-known landmark, was later created in 1822 to store them. Of course, now it's just a regular pond. The River Arun, around which the town of Littlehampton was built, has a history of dropping tons of sediment at the river mouth, and this can silt up its entrance. Over the centuries, huge amounts of work has been carried out to both secure and increase the accessibility of the harbour, which has resulted in the east and west piers being extended out to sea in the late 1700s. The current lighthouse was constructed near the entrance of the East Pier in 1948. Its predecessors included the well-light salt and pepper pots. Unfortunately, these were demolished during the Second World War because they provided clear landmarks for attacking the harbour. The pier itself is rather an overstatement, or perhaps no more than 100 metres in length. However, it does offer a fantastic view of the West Pier, a huge wooden breakwater created from wooden piling that reaches far out into the Littlehampton Channel. The harbour has also played a part in military operations. Henry VIII's ships used Littlehampton Harbour as a supply port around the time of his flagship, the Mary Rose. The Mary Rose accidentally sank in the Solent during an engagement with the French fleet in 1545. During the Napoleonic Wars, a defensive fort was constructed on the western side of the harbour mouth in 1854. Unfortunately, after 16 years, it was inspected and found to be inadequate to defend the harbour due to the advances of modern artillery. That being the case, it was dismantled in 1891, but the rampart and Carno Wall are still in place and can be seen from the West Beach Nature Reserve. Littlehampton has also had its fair share of celebrities, although no one of note has been seen recently. During its heyday, it had an almost hypnotic draw to the rich and famous, including Shelley, Coleridge, and Lord Byron. Lord Byron actually swam the river, which is no mean feat, as the River Arun is one of the fastest of all the British rivers. He is seen here in a portrait which I presume to have been taken immediately after his swim, and, not least of course, was John Constable, who painted the harbour in 1835. Even Samuel Pepys, Admiralty Inspector and famous diarist, visited the harbour during the 1660s. He did this in order to keep a check on the quality of timber that was being brought in to build Admiralty ships. Perhaps the most famous Englishman in history, Horatio Nelson, also found time to visit Littlehampton. Nelson was on a ship here in 1801 when Admiral Phillip returned orders to him in the port. However, he was not aboard HMS Victory as it was being repaired at the time. A tenuous link perhaps, but this town needs all the recognition it can get. So what does the future hold for Littlehampton? Well, in the current age of economic crisis, perhaps not much, or maybe just more of the same. However, at least some of the area's natural beauty has national protection, as this coastal area of West Beach is now a site of special scientific interest. This area includes sand flats, the tide line, vegetated shingle, and sand dunes. This also includes the plants, birds, mollusks, reptiles and mammals which either live or feed on them. The most interesting of which are probably the cormorants, the sand lizards and the oyster catchers. Although Littlehampton may no longer be a home to the beautiful people, it is still, and now likely to remain, an area of stunning natural beauty. The seaside town of Littlehampton, home to the Body Shop, the contentious East Beach Cafe and, of course, the world's longest